How much money did I make in Q4 this year in the month of November? In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the revenue versus the profit that I got to take home in the month of November on Etsy with print on demand. If you're new around here, my name is Ariel and I talk everything print on demand and Etsy. I started my print on demand Etsy business in 2023, so I've been doing this for almost 3 years, and I teach everything that I have learned over the years on this channel, and I have scaled my shop to a 6-figure shop. I also have a playlist where I share my Etsy journey with you guys. I share my story of how I started, and I have been giving you updates month to month what my profit and revenue has been. So if you're interested in seeing previous months, I will go ahead and link that playlist down in the description. But we're going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to show you what I made in November this year. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to be revealing which products and niches were my best sellers that helped me get the sales that I made in the month of November. But without further ado, let's get right into the numbers. All right, here is my monthly statement for November of this year. As you can see, my net profit on Etsy was $15,995.84. Now, I explained this in other videos as well. This net profit is not my true take-home profit. This is just calculating after all of the Etsy fees and my marketing and things like that, just the things that I owe on Etsy. But my revenue is $19,698.39. So I care more about this number here because this is going to be a more accurate representation of the revenue that I made. And then my profit is going to be after all of these listing fees and stuff like that on Etsy, minus what I pay my print provider, which is Printify, to print and ship all of my items for me. So after all of my expenses were paid, my take-home profit was $4,924.50. So I was really happy with these numbers, and I made more this month than what I would have made at my 9-to-5 job. I talk about this in my first video, but I used to be a physical therapist assistant, and I went to school and I got my license for it, and I was in the career for about 6 years, and I was making, to be transparent with you guys, I live in California and I was making around $50,000 a year. Sorry, also I'm a little sick, but I really wanted to film this video for you guys, but if I sound a little sick, it's because I'm getting over a cold. But anyways, this is more than what I made in a month at my regular 9-to-5 job. And if you follow my channel, there are other months where I have made even more than that in 1 month. Like in the summer months, I actually made like $8,000 profit 1 month. I made $10,000 profit another month. And if you're interested in that, I will link that video as well. That was the highest profit month that I had made on Etsy since starting this business, was $10,000 in my pocket profit. It wasn't the revenue number. So it just shows you how amazing Etsy is and the opportunity that you have with owning your own business. Yes, there are going to be months where there are highs, but there are also months where there are going to be lows. For example, this month I didn't make as much as I did in the summer. I share this in my video going over my summer numbers, but that's because I was in a niche where I was selling a lot of group shirts. And to be completely honest with you guys, when I was preparing for Christmas, I was not creating very many listings that were group listings. So like family matching Christmas shirts. I did do a little bit of mommy and me, and I did a few family matching, but none really took off. And so I think it's because I was targeting markets that were individual sales, so I wasn't getting big group orders. And so I realize now that could be one of the reasons why I had a lower month compared to the summer months. And actually, I'm going to go over this in the next screen, but I made less money this November compared to last November. And I will talk about that in a bit, but let me go ahead and show you guys the stats from this November compared to last November, and then I'll kind of talk about it. Okay, so here we are on my stats page, and this is this November. So I had about 10,000 visits. I had 511 orders. I did have a little bit more sales than that because I did have some group orders on like some ornaments and a few like mommy and me. Yeah, I had a few group orders, but not many. My conversion rate was 5%, so I'm really happy about that because a good conversion rate for apparel, and I sell mostly apparel in my shop, is 3% or above is considered good. So I'm happy with my conversion rate. And my revenue, now this is different from the previous page because I charge my customers for shipping. And so this page is not accurate because it's not including the shipping that I charged the customers. So the revenue here is lower than the other page. The other page is more accurate. But it does say $16,714.78. But on the other page, we know my revenue was almost $20,000. It was $19,900 and something. Now looking here at the visits, it does say that it decreased by 38% compared to last year. My orders actually decreased by 47% compared to last year. My conversion rate decreased 13.7%, and my revenue decreased by 43%. So why did my numbers drop almost 50% compared to last year during this time? Well, there's a few reasons. So last year I was working part-time at my other job, and then I was putting almost full-time hours into this Etsy business, and I was only focused on listing and putting out a lot of new listings. I would come home from my job and I'd get home at like 5 or 6 at night, and I would work from then all the way through like midnight, sometimes even later. And then I only worked, I believe, 3 or 4 days a week, so I had a couple days off, and I was listing all day, like every day, probably 10 hours a day. I was like a listing crazy person. So I was putting a lot more effort and time into my Etsy business. Now, I mentioned this in my last videos, but I took on some new businesses this year. I started this YouTube channel, so I'm really excited about that. But it does take away time from my Etsy business and listing and things like that. I also started Amazon merch, so I've been putting some time and energy into that as well, just learning, taking some classes, learning more about it, switching out listings, just things that take away my time. And then I also just became a coach in Cassiy Johnson's membership, so I am just really excited about that. And I've just been helping out with certain things in her community. And so, yeah, my time is just being pulled a little bit to different things. So when you aren't putting your 100% effort into one thing, then it's not going to grow as much. But the cool thing about this that I want people to take away is I didn't list as much. I still listed quite a bit. I think I listed 100 new ornaments and about 200 new Christmas items this year. My goal was 500. I don't think I made it to that goal, but I was listing quite a bit. But compared to last year, I hit that 500 listing goal. So it just shows you that I put less work into this, but my numbers are still really good and I'm still making decent profit to where I can pay my bills and feel comfortable. So that is the beauty in this business, is however much work you're willing to put into it is usually what you're going to get out of it. So at any point, I can put a lot more effort into this Etsy business and I can have another $10,000 profit month or even more. My goal on this channel is to be able to show you guys how much you can actually make on Etsy. So I do have listing goals and I'm going to add some new strategies and we will see. I will keep updating you guys, but I just want you to see how possible this business actually is. And yeah, it's just amazing. Once you get going in the algorithm, it's kind of like a snowball effect. And once you build your inventory, each year following, if you want, you don't have to put in as much work to still make decent money, and you're not going to see as crazy of dips. It's going to level out a little bit and you're going to still be able to make a good profit. But if you want to have those crazy explosive months, you're going to have to continue to put in the hard work to see those amazing months. But anyways, I'm ranting and I'm just so happy with my November still, and I hope that this was really inspiring to you guys what Etsy can offer. So I did promise you guys at the beginning of the video that I was going to reveal what niches and products brought me in most of my sales for the month of November, this Q4. But before I tell you guys, if you're enjoying this content, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe, and comment down below if you're enjoying this content so I know to make more videos like this for you guys. All right, getting into the niches and products that made me most of my sales this November. I had a few bestsellers. One was an ornament. Actually, I had two best-selling ornaments, and surprisingly enough, they were in the same niche. So the niche was personalized name ornaments. And so it's where it has a design and they can change out the name and the year. And people love that. People are looking for personalized ornaments for the whole family. So I was getting group orders on these because they were kind of just a generic Christmas design, and it was something that each family member can have their own name and then they can all have it on the tree together, and it has the year. So a lot of people like to get family ornaments, like new ones each year. So I had a couple bestsellers on those and they did really well. And then apparel, one of my best sellers was actually in the mom niche, and it was a personalized mom sweatshirt, and it was a Christmas sweatshirt. It was a trendy design style, and it allowed for personalization on the sleeve. So if you guys haven't gotten into personalization or sleeve prints, what are you waiting for? That is where the money is. Etsy, people are looking for personalized items. They don't want to buy generic stuff that they can buy at any store like Target or Walmart. They come to Etsy in mind that we are a handmade seller that is going to make it a little bit more special for them. So all of my best sellers this Q4 have been personalized items. So that is a big secret. I don't know if it's a secret, but it is a big tip that I want to give you guys. And I do have one personalization video on how to do that for ornaments. And I plan on making more videos on how to do personalized apparel coming up soon. So definitely subscribe to the channel if you're interested in something like that. But yeah, I was really, really excited that I was able to get a few bestsellers this season, and then the rest of my sales actually came from the professions niche and the family niche. So professions is kind of like a broad umbrella of like a niche itself, but I made a design that was scalable. If you don't know what a scalable design is, it's basically a design that you can change out the word, but the design is the same. And so you can make it for a bunch of different professions, and it's just like a Christmas design. So it was a proven design that started selling, and so I decided to scale it out to a bunch of professions like social worker, nurse, teachers, you name it. I have a whole list of professions. You can look that up on ChatGPT to see what professions are popular on Etsy. And yeah, it's a really good niche because you are niching down and you're also cross niching. So niching down just means profession is the main niche, and then nurse would be niching down. And if you wanted to niche down even more, it would be like pediatric nurse or oncology nurse. There's so many different types of nurses, or, you could just niche down, and it really makes a big difference because you're not competing with like the huge general niche of like just nurse. So that's another little tip. But yeah, I scaled this design out, and it was a proven design. I want to say that because I don't want everyone to think that this is always my strategy, just making a design and then scaling it out into a bunch of different niches. You want to make sure that the design that you're scaling out has already sold for you, or it's showing lots of favorites and it's showing a lot of potential. That's a good indicator that you can scale it out. But in my case, I had quite a few sales on this design, and so I scaled it out to a bunch of professions and family members. And yeah, I have gotten lots of sales on it because it has been proven to sell. So I've just been getting sales here and there on this design. It's on a sweatshirt too, because during this time of year, people tend to want to buy sweatshirts. And so, yeah, that's what I've been getting most of my sales on, is just this Christmas design for a bunch of different professions and family members. And then, like I said, I had those bestsellers on the personalized ornaments and the personalized mom sweatshirt with the names on the sleeve. So yeah, if you guys are interested in more design tutorials, please comment below. Let me know what you're interested in. I'm definitely going to be making some more videos on my process of how I create a listing and how to do personalized items like sleeve designs and things like that. So yeah, stick around for that because those will be coming out soon. Lastly, it's time for our weekly wins. Every week I go over my weekly win, and I encourage you guys to think of a weekly win and put it down in the comments. It's really good to celebrate our wins every week. It's easy to focus on the negative and the things that we did wrong, but it's really important to focus on the positives so that we can have the motivation to keep going and see success. So my weekly win this week is I am just proud of myself for not giving up, even when I was looking at my numbers and seeing that they were almost down by 50% compared to last Q4. I know we all have expectations, and I tend to do this a lot, where I have high expectations for something and then I get down about it. And I honestly thought that my Q4, I thought I was going to double what I was going to make compared to last year. And for it to tank 50%, it was definitely frustrating. It wasn't the numbers themselves, because I was still happy that I was making money and I could pay my bills, but it was the premise of feeling like I didn't do enough because it just shows in the numbers, and that means I must not be doing something and I'm the problem and I made a mistake or I didn't put in enough work, and you get down on yourself. So I had a little moment of that, and I talked with my husband, and he is just so great at helping me see the positives and reminding me of everything that I've done and worked towards, and the fact that I have started other streams of income and I'm trying to build other things. And that is why my revenue dipped compared to last year. And so I'm just really proud of myself for working through that and not being so hard on myself and giving myself some grace and seeing the things that I have done and just keep working towards my goals. That's all you can do. There's only so much time in a day, and yeah, you just have to be proud of yourself for what you do, especially in sales. I'm not used to sales. I'm not used to the ebbs and flows, and so it was just kind of shocking to me. But I'm still very proud of myself, and yeah, that's just my weekly win, is keeping a positive mindset. And that, I believe, is really what has carried me through the last 3 years of owning my own business and not letting these slow months get to me. And instead of that defeating me, it actually gives me motivation to keep pushing to see the type of success that I want to see. So I suggest that you do the same. This business is mostly mindset, and I talk about mindset a lot on this channel. I recommend watching videos like this, reading books that are inspirational and help you with your mindset, because it is an emotional roller coaster in sales. So you have to have a positive and a strong mind. But that's my weekly win. Go ahead and comment your weekly win down in the comments. And I can't wait to talk to you guys there. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.